Good morning and welcome to Weekends with Whitney. Coming up in this morning's show, how 2 South Louisiana women are giving hope to millions with a disfiguring type of rosacea. The incredible transformation coming up. Plus, fire like you've rarely seen before. The artistry of fire flow in Red Stick. Then Dr. Nick shares the harsh lessons that make us better in every arena of our lives. But first, changing the face of medicine, literally.
God only knows what I'd be without you.
Looking at Pamela today, it's hard to imagine for the last 20 years she looked like this. Her nose grew so large, she barely looked like the little girl, then woman, she used to be. Her nose first changed when she was 25, pregnant with her second child.
It's like a ball started to form on the top. You know, people would tell me, little children, you look like Santa Claus or Rudolph.
She hoped it was just hormones and her nose would return to normal after pregnancy. But it got worse. She went to a dermatologist for help.
He put me on medicine, you know, and he'd take a needle and pull out infection. Oh, it hurt so much.
The treatment didn't work.
I was self-conscious and I didn't want to go anywhere, you know. I didn't want to leave the house, and I'd catch myself looking in the mirror more than I needed to, worrying, you know, and having anxiety, sweating under my arms.
Even at home, she couldn't escape the ridicule. Her husband was as cruel as strangers.
I didn't feel beautiful because of his words and the way he treated me.
She went to another dermatologist who tried a variety of treatments. Still, nothing worked.
I just lost hope in, you know, what these doctors had done all these years. I just felt like a guinea pig, and they really didn't cure me or explain what is going on.
Her nose was etched with red veins, her pores expanded, and its shape grew worse.
The nose started to grow on one side, and then there was holes that started to form where you could stick a tweezer in those holes.
Physical and emotional scars took root. Hope was lost. Then last fall at a family picnic, her aunt had an idea.
Aunt said, hey, why don't you get online and do this thing, you know? Maybe they'll help you. I was like, really? Oh, okay.
The thing online was an email to the TV show The Doctors. Had you ever seen The Doctors show?
No! Oh, I didn't even know it existed.
It would be an answered prayer.
It was a prayer I'd had about 4 years prior. Could I ever find a doctor that could help me?
It was also 4 years ago. She prayed for the strength to leave her husband.
I didn't want to stay in that anymore, that abuse. I woke up and it's like, I'm worth more than this. Wow. He didn't value me. If he didn't, then I must not.
With that same fortitude, she emailed the show's producers. She heard back almost immediately.
And I was like, wow, that was quick. Can I see some more pictures? Okay, we want to know your testimony. I was like, okay. I kind of got a little excited, a little nervous because I'd only flown one time. We want to ship you out.
She flew off to LA.
The amazing thing was going through a divorce after 32 years with him. I was speaking to my father and I said, Father, can I have an anniversary trip even though I know I'm not with him? On my anniversary, we just so happened to be in California for the doctor's show. Yes, that was a blessing.
Something else took flight there too.
It gave me hope, you know, that they could do something. Now, I didn't know what was going to happen.
Or who was going to be doing it, right?
Yes, I had no idea if they're going to, you know, cut on me.
Then, there she was on national TV.
There's got to be a cure for this. It's just got to be. When I went out there and they started showing pictures of my old pictures, that really touched me. You know, to see those old pictures and through the stages of my face changing, I was emotional.
Another doctor would change everything.
I want to bring into the conversation board-certified dermatologist, Dr. Ann Zedlitz. She's joined us via Skype from Pamela's hometown in Louisiana. What kind of options are available for Pamela?
In the early stages, topical medications and some oral medications will suffice. As the disease progresses, then we can utilize laser therapy, such as CO2 laser.
Dr. Zedlitz, I know you have something you want to share with Pamela.
Yeah, well, it's an honor to be here on the show, but it would be even more of an honor to participate in Pamela's care, to get her nose back to the original shape it was and to make her skin smoother again. And I would like to do all of these treatments at no charge.
The doctors reached out to Dr. Z after seeing pictures of men she'd treated with the same condition. It's called Rhinophyma, a form of rosacea. It's most prevalent in men over 60. Were you surprised for a woman in her 40s for her nose to look like that?
It's very unusual. Number one, it's unusual for a woman, and then it's unusual for someone young in their 40s. So it's very unusual. I have seen women in their 40s and 30s when they start to get that blush and that redness on the tip of the nose, but not where they've had the tissue overgrowth. And it's genetic. You can't wash that away. You can't wish it away. You have to have some kind of surgical intervention. And laser surgery is what this is. It's laser surgery. It's not traditional surgery with a scalpel, but it's laser surgery.
Most doctors thought only a scalpel could slenderize her nose. Dr. Z knew the CO2 laser would.
A lot of people just don't know what is out there and what you can do with lasers. And I happened to go through my dermatology training, and I loved lasers because I could see the future in lasers. And it is a bright future. So scalpels may become a thing of the past.
When you saw Pamela for the first time,
Yes.
were you a little shocked?
No, because I had seen the pictures.
Okay, when you saw the pictures,
you
were
know
you
what I
shocked?
was shocked with?
Tell me.
Her presence. She had such a strong presence. And her spirit, because generally people who've been through that, who have a physical deformity, it sometimes stunts or blocks their emotional growth and their presence, and it did not with her. And it was amazing. That strength that she had, her faith got her through this. And her faith is what will continue to carry her through, because although she has a strong presence in her faith, she still has some scars, some psychological scars that she will carry with her, but she's shedding them very fast. So I love to see she's continuing to even become more beautiful.
The procedures were painless.
It was so peaceful, no pain. No, I just felt like I had a light sunburn.
The results immediate. Could you tell a difference after the first day?
Yes, I could. I
could.
Yes. We took some pictures, and I looked at those pictures of me, and I can see in my face, you know, there was a light in my eye that hadn't been there in a long time, and hope.
Everyone's eyes lit up in her second appearance on the doctors, just 4 months after her first.
I barely recognize you because you look so great.
Thank you.
She and Dr. Z stunned everyone.
We have rarely seen a more dramatic before and after reveal.
Well, how does that feel?
I'm very proud. I'm very proud. I'm very honored to be a part of the transformation. Show everyone around the nation what can be done, you know? Baton Rouge proud.
Their story's gone viral. 1 million people have watched it on YouTube in just 2 weeks.
It's still hard to believe. I still walk around, it's still hard to believe when I look in the mirror.
But Dr. Z won't take all the credit.
Every time before I touched Pamela's face, I said a prayer to guide me. And he did. It was great. It really is true a new beginning for me.
God only knows what I'd be without you.
For more information on Rhinophyma or any skin disorders, you can check out zdermatology.com. And still ahead, they're part performer, part artist, part daredevil. How these artists flow like no other. Then life's harsh lessons Dr. Nick says we all have to learn to be our best as Weekends with Whitney continues.
Who says an old dog can't learn new tricks?
Do you want to learn how to inspire?
Learn to fly?
Or learn how to drive.
Take a run around this park.
Or this park?
Or this park. And we'll teach you how to dance.
and reach for the sky.
No matter your age, Breck offers classes to keep you moving, learning, and having fun.
Visit Breck.org and see how together we've made Breck better than imagined.
Welcome back to Weekends with Whitney. Art emerges in hundreds of forms, but for one group, their palette is like no other. Most try to get out of the line of fire. John Scott embraces it.
Displaying a beautiful art, the enjoyment of movement and personal satisfaction of meditation and understanding through spinning an object.
It's energy with intensity. Aaron Warner uses a levy wand.
It's kind of like a magician type thing. It looks like it's floating around and I can spin it all over the place.
She appears fearless, but she's aware of the danger.
Yes, a little scary, but not to the point of like, hey, I'm not going to do that again. It's kind of like an adrenaline rush, so I'm like, please don't catch on fire.
It's now a burning passion for newcomer Eric Otts.
It's one of those things that I never really, always saw it and always thought it was something that was unachievable for me, you know? Just so out there. Until the first time I did it, it's one of those things where you don't think you can do it until you actually do it. And you kind of understand, it's like, okay, it's scary, but it's absolutely doable.
Persistence is paramount.
It can be very frustrating because you are never going to get a move the first, 100 times you do it. So it's just one of those things. Every day you got to just pick up one of your toys and just practice the move a few times. And eventually it just starts coming to you. It'll click one day and you'll get it every time.
John's proof. I first saw him perform a year and a half ago. His improvement is impressive.
Constantly working on it, diligently practicing, drilling new things, networking with all the other production managers in the area during events, and constantly learning.
This is where John finds joy.
Out here on the levee, spinning with everyone, listening to music, enjoying the flow.
They're called flow artists. These, they're flow tools. There are dozens to choose from and hundreds of creative ways to embody them. Emotions often accelerate too.
And there was a song that came on and I just was like flowing really hard and I just burst into tears, but it was like beautiful and like, I just don't even, it was great. I mean, it was just like, I don't even know how to explain it. It was just like a huge kind of like euphoric moment, and I guess it was like happiness. I mean, it was just like everything at once, just.
What transpires amid the fire is seeing art in a whole new light. If you would like to see one of their live performances, you can find them every Friday night in downtown Baton Rouge, right along River Road at Florida Boulevard along the levee. And still to come, Dr. Nick explores why we should embrace life's harsh lessons instead of running from them, as Weekends with Whitney continues.
Maggio, the only way to go. Maggio Buick GMC, your satisfaction's our specialty. We really deliver on Falls River here in New Roads. Small town atmosphere, legendary service for over 60 years. Maggio, the only way to go. The only way to go, that's Maggio.
9-time winner of the prestigious Buick GMC Mark of Excellence Award. Sometimes life hands us some harsh lessons, but it's those things that will make us more successful. Dr. Nick joins us with more. Good to see you.
Good to see you too, Whitney. Hate to use the word harsh, but because it's not that you're going to suffer from the lessons, but they are necessarily lessons.
Yes.
So let's start talking about it.
Okay, you tell me that the first step is always the hardest.
The first step to change and to success is always the hardest, because it's the risk. You're literally taking a leap out of a window because you don't see what's ahead of you.
Yes.
But the first step is the hardest. When my niece decided to go to New York at 22, the first step was getting on the plane, packing and getting on the plane and saying, I'm going.
Yes. But those people who take those kind of risks are typically more successful and more gratified in life, right?
They are, because what is the downside to wanting to be successful is that you must accept you're going to fail. She has not, I'm just using her as an example. She hasn't found a job yet. And the first nanny job that she had didn't come through, but the fourth one did. So the failure becomes, as we've talked about and in what he says, it's feedback. It's feedback. Failure is always feedback, because it's not necessarily that it's failure, it's a no, it's a door has closed, but there's going to be one that opens.
Yes.
You see how you're almost living in a world of mystery. It's a faith statement to say, I don't care if I fail. I'm going to, we talked about your show and my band and my practice. Those are leaps that we take. And we learn so much from them.
Right.
And we're not too caught up, remember, in the past, anxiety of regret or the angst of the future.
Because they say regret is the biggest obstacle in success, right?
Yes.
And failure.
Yes. Well, we look at what we failed at and say, oh, I've failed so many times, or I've done, and it's like we don't count the successes.
Yes. And another harsh lesson is that things take time.
Things take time.
I love what Malcolm Gladwell
says
in his book, 10,000 Hours of intense focus to be excellent at something.
Yes. And the key is the focus. The key is the focus. You can't have 1,000 things going and be successful at one. I mean, we talk a lot about, being able to do several things at once. I still struggle with that.
I do too.
I like focus. I want to focus on this project and get this done, or see where this takes me. It takes time and it takes effort. But there's another harsh lesson that I think comes together too, Whitney. When we combine the powers of the world. My sister Angela has just hit 5 years of recovery from breast cancer. And the first thing that came to my mind was, wow, what a combination of medical science, her faith, which is the faith in something bigger.
That's right.
Her determination, the health care. Do you see how it all kind of comes together to also create success?
I do.
You've got to kind of trust that people, which is why one of the lessons is to surround yourself with the right people.
Yes.
And that's not a judgment on necessarily wrong people. It's just, who's going to energize me? Who feeds me? Where do I get challenged?
Yes, where do I get great ideas?
Where am I stretched? Great ideas.
Where am I encouraged? Right, all of those things.
Yeah, and I again, without being judgmental, it's good to be with open-minded people that are willing to take a look at a different perspective or a different way, or asking myself, what is it that's holding me back from accepting this person or this position or this way of relating to someone?
You also said, don't mistake being busy for being productive.
I love that, because we can all get very busy.
Yes.
In fact, I don't even like to say to people I've been busy. Because busy
Everyone's busy.
Because it's like busy is, what's busy? Because it's so much of it's mental. But am I being productive? And if I'm not being productive, then what's wrong with saying I'm being unproductive? I'm doing nothing. I love to say to people, I'm doing nothing today, and I love it.
You embrace that better than anyone I know.
I love doing nothing. And people will say, well, what does that mean? It's like it's the recess, it's the break that I need in order to get back in the ring to be creative and risk-taking.
Yes.
And comfortable. We're not ever-ready batteries that go, go, go. We need to do nothing.
Well, yes, we do. And it helps our mental health, which also comes to another point, which says that our biggest problems are mental. And I think so many of us think it's physical limitations. I don't have energy, I don't have enough time. But so explain that to me, mental.
It's just that primitive emotion of fear. We'll think about what, again, didn't work, and we're fearful that it won't, and then we can fall into the trap of, well, what will people think if I don't? And let's be honest, Whitney, there may be some forces out there, principalities and powers, that may be working against someone who's taking the risk. So what?
Yeah.
Huh?
Right.
So what? We've just got one shot at this life.
That's right.
You know, let's go for it. And I mean, I just love it when people say, I'm going to give this a shot. I'm like, I'm all behind you.
Yes.
I'm all behind you. And there's another thing that comes real quick that we don't talk. It always pays forward. Oh. I helped 2 or 3 people move to New York. Do you know what those 2 or 3 people are doing right now?
Tell me.
Helping my niece.
Nice. Not why you do it, but it's nice.
Not why I do it. Not why I do it, but it comes full circle. It comes full circle. That's surrounding, trusting. You know that things are going to work out. There are always going to be people out there to help you. There are angels everywhere in this world. See, that's when you start getting motivated.
Yes.
You start getting motivated. I know we talk about it a lot, but your show is just such a perfect example.
Thank you.
It took you what? How many years to take the leap?
25.
But again, we don't want to say that's regret either.
No, not at all. It came at the right time.
Well, because you put the time in.
Yeah, you're right.
You put the time in.
And if I'd done this initially, I would have never had those other experiences that I really enjoyed too.
And the expertise always shows that you've been doing it for a while, so it's clear. You do things, and I'm like, I don't get that, and you said it takes too long to explain it. You know, but you've got it. It's wonderful to have harsh lessons and yet know that that's the creating too. And remember, success is not necessarily defined by money. It's defined by what I've done for the world, how I've made an impression. Am I being fulfilled? Is it fruitful? Is it going forward?
How do I feel about myself? Because self-confidence has to be a component.
It has to be, and that's one of the things I struggle with real quick. I'll get so many people to say, thank you for all the good you do for the world. And I always sit back and like, what did I do? See, and that's a lack of confidence on my part that there is good energy out there.
That is, you and I both
know, and you see that when people carry on about you. You're like, wow, I just am being myself. Well, that's...
Yeah, well, let's talk about the lovely man who watches the show, he and his wife, and sent us both a book of his.
Sent a book with a beautiful letter
it was
saying,
the letter
we look so forward to your show on Sunday. It really did touch me, because we have that kind of voice that says, well, what, I don't think it was that great. And then people say it really made a difference in my life.
Yes, yes. So we thank him.
And hello, we're not going to mention the name, but hello to you. You know who you are out there.
That's
and
right.
I've enjoyed your book. Great to see you.
You too.
Everybody enjoy the lessons of life and keep moving. Take the risk. Today may be the day.
That's right. It absolutely
Today may be the day.
We will be back with more Weekends with Whitney on this day, right after this. Atlas Foundation Repair, fixing your foundation problems for more than 30 years while preserving and protecting your trees. Thanks for sharing part of your day here with us on Weekends with Whitney. I hope you have a happy and safe Mardi Gras. As the good times roll, we leave you with A doggone good one last Sunday.